what's the use of winning the world and losing your family, or losing your health, or losing your soul? So you make the money and then you try to buy your health back with that money that you made. So that is just not good enough.
When I started speaking, I was sometimes disheartened because the person I saw backstage was not what I saw on stage. And I felt the opposite, I better be living what I'm saying on stage, like it just didn't, it didn't compute to me. Like it was a must. And, I learned very quickly that people are going to watch us more than listen to us.
Yeah, there's the old saying, if you're a parent and I love the time to see you with your family there in Namibia and Swakopmund, but children don't do what you say, they do what you do. And therefore you very often see your own behavior, and then you're a little bit ashamed of that you see in your children. So it reminds me also of probably one of the great minds of old, St. Francis of Assisi, that said, you must preach every day, and only if really necessary, use words. and I took that thing, and in the speaking industry, it is, as we said, it's easy to talk the talk, but it's difficult to walk the walk. But in all our conferences we go into, if you're in a professional industry, you want to do your skill better. So we want to speak better, and we want to organize our business better. But there was a missing link, because exactly that you see, that public presentation of a branding of yourself, and the person on the stage is not the person in real life. So when I was president, I reframed it, and I said that you must not only speak better or organize your business better, but you must be better. And isn't that the interesting thing? Is it to have or to be? Is it to be eloquent or to be the message? You must not talk the message, you must be the message. And it's difficult sometimes. I mean, we all struggle to bring it all together. You want to have an international career, you want to keep your family together. But if you put your mind to it, you can do it. It is the most fantastic thing. This is why I appreciate you so much, because everywhere I go, your kids are either there or you're very, very, very close to them or talking fondly about them. And you know that I travel in the world, so that I include my children. You know, the greatest thing I've learned, and probably it's from my old psychologist dad, when I was a primary school boy, he got invitations before there were professional speakers. He was speaking all over the country, and one farmer invited him and said, listen, I've got a private small aeroplane, a prop aeroplane, and you can fly into my farm. My father always said, yes, I will gladly accept. Can my sons come with? So he included me in his life. And until this time, I think it is the greatest gift I can pass on to my children, to include them in my life. Because guess what? Then a bit of learning takes place. I remember my oldest daughter, when she was her first speech, I mean, it was so, she was shivering so much she couldn't speak a word. Now she won prizes in speaking. Where did it come from? Just following Dad. Yeah. But it didn't start that way. I mean, her first speech was a disaster.
Yeah, like all of ours, maybe. Yeah.
and we had that disasters in our adult life. They can have the disasters at a younger age and learn from the parents.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think, just reflecting on my life, I was not with my father. Like, I grew up the opposite. My dad worked at a big company in Silicon Valley in California, and he was gone all the time. Many nights I went to bed and he was not home, and I woke up and he was off to the next day. And I'm grateful for what he gave us. And, the one thing I think I did take from him is commitment. I knew that he loved us, and he was doing this, in his way of showing love was to just work. And, but then I knew I did not want that. And I quickly found myself doing that, though I was basically working really hard to not work. And then that doesn't work. So I spent over a decade in my career building a business so that I could have the life with my children. And it didn't work. And at the house that I'm in now, my brother-in-law got married, and we're at the wedding, and someone that had not seen me in many, many years was there at the wedding. And he said, Steve, it's so good to see that you made it. After all those years of hard work, I remember how hard you worked. And then I dawned on me in that moment. I looked at him and I said, the funniest thing, I had to stop doing that to have this.
Exactly. Isn't it interesting? That's amazing, because what's the use of winning the world and losing your family, or losing your health, or losing your soul? So you make the money and then you try to buy your health back with that money that you made. So that is just not good enough. The interesting thing is about our parents. I had a friend, and he became an international sports star. Obviously, I will not mention his name. He's known to so many people throughout the world. And he grew up in a horrendous situation. So we were boys together. It was absolutely hectic at his house. I mean, abusive father, all the alcohol, all the bad things that you can imagine. But he didn't reject his father. He looked at his father, and he had this amazing view that I learned from him. He said, Gustav, you always have the perfect parents. I've got the perfect father. In discipline, because his father was also a good sports star. He taught me the discipline, and that took him to international level. He said, discipline I can learn from my father. For the rest of his life, he's got the perfect example. If I just do the exact opposite, I will be a success.
Yeah.
And isn't it amazing? We sometimes curse our circumstances, but
Right.
you always have the perfect parents.
Yep.
And in some ways, you must just take what they and replicate what they give. And the rest, you must realize you must adapt it, or the rest, you must just do the exact opposite, and then you sort it for life. But the problem is people fall in this mentality from, look where I come from. I say, no. You always have the perfect example. And even in life, it is so. I always say, people always teach me a lesson. Some people just teach me how not to live.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. Like I don't regret in any way, maybe at a point I did in my younger years. I was upset. And once I got past that and I realized that I had choice, number one, that's what I had to realize first, that I had choice. And once I realized that I had that choice, then I could make new ideas. And I'm with you, because if I had different parents, I wouldn't have gone down the road that I went. And then I wouldn't be as passionate as I am now to help other people have freedom, because I knew what it was like to not have that, to believe, because it was a belief, to believe that I didn't have freedom, even though that I did. And then once I was able to ignite that and then have that life. And so I think I was meant in this life to have the yin and the yang, to see both sides very passionately. And then now I can be a better teacher, because when someone says, well, you wouldn't know, it's like, oh, well, I did. Yeah, actually, like, that's how my life was. And then now it's this way. And so I can speak firsthand. And so what a blessing what that is, because if I wouldn't have had that, the father, the way that it was, then I would have, who knows where I would have been. Maybe I would have been like, what's your problem? Life's easy. Like, you could just have it. So I'm deeply grateful for that. And it's so true. We learn from all of these elements. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.